Are we live? Yeah, I think 10 seconds. Start the session. Thank you for joining.
Hello. Hello. Thank you for being here. I'm Usha Albuquerque.
Hi, and I'm Sanad. I'm from the HCL team. Thank you for joining the session. We'll just wait a couple of minutes, before we kick off the session. Just want a few more people to join in. Please stay tuned. Thanks.
Okay, sure.
So we're up to 30 people right now.
Okay.
We're up to 36 people. We'll just wait a couple of minutes, or maybe a minute more, and then begin.
Okay.
Hi, hello. Good afternoon to everyone joining in. Good evening, rather.
Are we ready
Okay,
to start?
I think we've hit the 3-minute mark. I think we're good to start. So I'll just pick it up. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, and a very warm welcome to all of you. Hope you all are doing good and keeping safe. I'm Sanad. I'm part of the HCL Technologies team. For the benefit of some of you who may not know TechBee is HCL's early career program for Class 12 students who want to start their careers in technology right after 12. Right after class 12. So HCL is giving opportunities, to young bright minds like yourself to work in the IT industry on the latest technologies at HCL. To know more about the program, you can of course visit our website www.hcltechbee.com. Now, in continuation to our series of virtual events, I'm delighted to be back and host this third session for you today. In the earlier two sessions, we had Jitin Chawla and Zubin Malhotra guiding students on careers after class 12. In case you missed that, of course, you can visit our website to find those podcasts or videos. You can find more details regarding those there. Now, our guest for today is a renowned and experienced career counselor. You may have already seen her many times on television, on news channels. You may have actually even attended a talk by her, in your school. So it's Usha Albuquerque, the founder and director of Career Smart. Usha is a gold medalist from Madras University, a nationally respected television personality, like I said, a documentary filmmaker who pioneered career counseling on television 20 years ago, with two widely acclaimed TV series. A winner in of a national film award, her media career was capped by the production of so many documentaries on socially relevant issues, including Seeds of Life, which won the highest national film award in the country, and Silent Killing, which was nominated at the UNICEF Child Rights Award. Now, she's also written several books on career and career counseling, including The Penguin, India Career Guide. With The Penguin and India Career Guide. Um, Now, of course, she has also been one of the governing bodies on the governing body of the College in Delhi University and the Goa University Council, and continues to conduct personal career counseling and write and comment on education and career related issues across the country in publications and TV channels. So, without further ado, I'd hand over the stage to Usha ma'am, who will take you through the topic for today, which is the importance of starting your career early and how that can unlock, new paths for you. So please, Usha ma'am, I welcome you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. And I a very warm welcome to so many students that have logged on to this program. I'm very happy to be here, and thank you, Sanat, for that introduction. I think it is a time when a lot of young people are feeling very anxious about what they should do. Regularly, I'm talking to students and counseling them. And many of you who are here, who have logged on, I'm sure are anxious about what should we do. Many of you may be in class 10, 11, 12, may even have started college. And therefore, you feel what are the options available, particularly under the current circumstances. So we're going to start. I've just got a little presentation which might give you some ideas on how we can take this forward and what are the kind of areas that we really need to start thinking about when we're looking at careers. I'm very happy that we have a topic like starting early, because this is really the time when you're finishing school and you want to look at what are those possibilities. Okay. So understand your careers, and let us move on to the PowerPoint presentation, please. Thank you. Okay, so as we look at what are the kind of options ahead of you, many of you are confused. Today, I had a student who was with me who had actually done mechanical engineering and still didn't know what he wanted to do, because he wasn't very clear whether he should stay on as an engineer or look at some other option. So very often we make choices without knowing. As they say, Papa kehte hain, you have to do either engineering, medicine, kuch na kuch kar lo jo, naam bada sakte hain. But yet, very often for us, we feel, is that really something that we want to go ahead with or not? Okay, so how do we actually choose? What am I going to be? Am I going to be an engineer, doctor, lawyer? Am I going to look at something new or different? Next, please. What do I want to be? Now, many of you are at the stage when how do you know which career you should choose? Like I said, there was a student today who said he'd already completed his BTech and still didn't know whether he should stay on and become an engineer. So how do you know which is the right one for me? There is so much information today. You go on a Google search to look for careers, and you have millions of careers. And therefore, you are even more confused. Next. Okay, so how do you start? You start by finding out, who am I? Who is the person that I am? And like I asked again, I'll talk about the young man that I counseled this afternoon. He didn't know. He said, I don't know what my talents are. Who am I? Next. What do we need to find out? We need to really find out about ourselves. What am I good at? What can I do well? And that is your abilities. Am I good with maths? Am I good with talking? Am I good with reading? Am I good at communication? Am I creative? Am I very good in logical thinking? Am I good with a computer? All of these are abilities. And all of us have some ability, and we need to find out what those are. Then next is, what do you love doing? What are your interests? Each one of us has different kinds of interests. You like outdoor work, you like going out, you like playing outdoor, playing maybe cricket, maybe you like music, you like drawing, maybe you just like chatting with friends. Those are interests. It doesn't mean that because you love talking to people that you're, oh, that's all you're going to do, or because you love music that you're going to be a musician. No, it shows you your interest and the personality of the person that you are. Also, we have to look at our personality, and that's very important. Next, please. The kind of person we are, and are you somebody who loves being with people? Are you a quiet person who can just sit in front of a computer screen all day long? Or do you like to have people around you all the time? All of these are traits of personality that we need to understand, because each job or each kind of work requires a different kind of person. And of course, the environment. What kind of work will I be doing and where will I be doing it? Do I want to work in a factory? I had a young girl who had done mechanical electrical engineering. Her first job was with a factory making scooters, and she was given a job on the shop floor. And she came to me and she said, "Ma'am, I've done engineering from one of the top institutes, and why am I then having to work in a factory?" Well, as you know, certain engineers work in factories. So you have to be prepared for the kind of environment in which you will have to work. So all of these things you need to think about and know about yourself. What kind of person am I? What abilities do I have? What interests do I have? What kind of personality do I have? And what environment do I want to work in? Once I know what kind of all these aspects about myself, and I can find out and know myself, then I can go and start looking for the careers that suit me. Next. Next, please. Yes. So, where do we have to look? A career that combines my talent with my interest and, of course, the personality and the environment in which I would work. So, let us look at some examples. Next, please. Let us look at my strengths. You like being creative? What are possible careers that I could do? I could look at advertising, working in an ad agency. I could look at design. So many different areas of design, from architecture and furniture to interiors to fashion. So many different areas of design, all for those who are creative people. Okay, next. You're highly sociable. You love talking and chatting with people. You can get into a marketing career. You can get into hotel management. They need people who are ready to reach out and talk to anybody, make people feel comfortable. So who have got good, what we call people skills. Another example. Next. You like being adventurous. You love going out, trekking, or you love traveling, you like camping, you like trying out, you're good with sports, defense services. You can even get into travel tourism. So many different areas related with that. Or say you're good with numbers, banking and finance. So like this, these are just examples of how you can look at your abilities and select the career. Let's look at some other job skill identification. If you have strong communication and people skills, what can you do? You can get into public relations, hospitality, like we were talking about hotel management. You can get into mass communication or even law. Law requires you to have very good communication skills and, of course, good people skills. Next. If you have good analytical, technical, and logical skills, then what can you do? You can do engineering, you can do computers. In fact, the program that HCL has designed is ideal for somebody like this, who has technical, logical skills and is looking for an entry into a world of computers. Or you want to get into product design or architecture. All of these are good areas for somebody like this. And let's look at one more example. You're good with creative skills. you love drawing, painting, you have a lot of ideas of things. You can be a designer, go get into animation and graphics, advertising, journalism. All of these are good options. So, like this, we have many different options to look at. This is just an indication of how we need to think about ourselves, think about yourself, and then think about which career would suit me. Very often we don't think about it, and we start looking at, let me sit for some competitive exam because everybody says if I become an engineer, that's a good thing to do, but I may not be suited for that. So you have to look where you are headed, then select the subjects that you will need. When you're in class, particularly when you're in class 10, this is the time to select subjects. If I'm a technical person, I take technical subjects. And if I'm a creative person, I take creative subjects. And that is how I find the career path that is suited for me. Now let us look at how I will look at finding that career. Start early. Find the right career. Don't wait like the young man I was talking about who had completed his engineering and then realized that engineering wasn't actually the right career for him. Start early, find the right career. There are many options that you can go for. Let us explore different career options. What are career fields that interest me? Many. There are more than 1 million different options. And yet sometimes we only look at about 10 popular careers. What are they? Law, CA, engineering, design, medicine. That's 5. Let's look at another 5. Computers, hotel management, mass communication, civil services, and business management. Sometimes these are all that we look at. When there are so many different options that are coming up all the time. If you look at it just in this 1 year, when we are all sitting in front of a Zoom camera or a Google Meet camera, and we're looking at how we connect with people, how we learn, how we do some new training, we begin to realize that there are hundreds of people who are doing those things already and are creating new careers. There are people who are creating careers that make it possible for us to get onto Zoom. There are people creating careers that make it possible for us to store all our images, to set up apps like TikTok that everybody loves, that set up Instagrams or WhatsApp chats. All of this is people who are creating new jobs for any one of us to try out. So don't only look at these. There are hundreds of different options to look at. Okay. Let's look at some of those options. Let us start with some new careers. Social media is an excellent area now, is coming up because there are people now, we're all interacting on social media. Social media marketing has become big. Many people don't read newspaper, magazines, or even TV. As many young people tell me, and many of you may not be doing that, is don't watch anything on TV. You watch it on your phone or your tablet, and therefore that is where all the communication comes in. So when you do it on Facebook or Instagram, many others, companies feel they can get onto marketing their items and their products to you through social media. There are a whole lot of other digital technologies. There are mobile apps, and you can develop new ones. You can get into cloud computing. All of these are interesting new options for you to look at. Some other contemporary careers, there is when those who are interested in space can get into space technology. You can get into product design. You can get into so many different areas, forensic sciences, many different things that can be possible. Okay, let's look at now. Let us look at careers that you can actually look at from the subjects that you may be looking to do, what you are doing right now. So if you are a student of, say, science, let's look at some of the options available for you. I know there are many of you, from what I can see, many of you are science students. Let's look at the options that are available to science students. Career choices from physics, chemistry, and maths. Okay, so those of you who have done physics, chemistry, math, what can you do? Most people only look at engineering. But other than engineering, there are hundreds of more options available for you. You may have heard of them, but why not go and explore what those could be? I'm just going to briefly go through some of them. Here, as you can see, you can get into space, you can do anything, any technology. Today, there are what they call biostatisticians who are actually monitoring the COVID vaccine and the COVID disease and trying to figure out how long this disease will continue. That is also a career which requires a science background. You could be a pilot, you could be a researcher, you could get into defense services. So many different options available for you. Okay, let's look at some of them in a little more detail. Now, most of you are looking at engineering, so we'll briefly look at engineering. But within engineering, there are more than 30 different disciplines of engineering. So other than computers or mechanical or civil, there are things like electronics, there's telecommunications, there's naval architecture, biomedical engineering, where you're actually creating devices that doctors use. A pacemaker, which your grandfather may have put into his body, is been created by a biomedical engineer. So there are many new options for you to look at. Computers. Now, computers and IT is one of the fastest growing areas. In fact, this pandemic has taught us how dependent we are on computers, and particularly anything to do with computers. So other than the regular ones where we do software development or networking, there are new areas like data analytics, checking out all the data that people are getting into. What are people viewing? Where are the areas that can be worked at? Let me look at artificial intelligence, machine learning, cloud computing, computer hardware, cybersecurity. All of these are wonderful new areas. So if you have a technical bent of mind, love working on the computer, well, you even have the option of the TechBee program that helps you get introduced into many of these careers that are ready and available for you. HCL, in fact, is one of the major companies working in this field, and therefore they're giving you an early start into any of the areas if you feel that this is something that I'm really interested in. Other areas through with physics, chemistry, maths, you can be an air traffic controller, you can get into biophysics, again, a field which not many young people have looked at, but here is a field where you can combine both physics as well as biology and look at all the advancements that are being made in this field. Or you can be an acoustical engineer, even photography requires some amount of physics, chemistry, and math, especially if you're getting into cinematography, which again is an area that requires science. So like this, many, many new and different areas that you can actually look at. Get a little more information if you are interested in any of these fields. Sorry, just go back, please. I think there we've missed a couple of slides. Okay. Okay. No, we just go back to what can you do with, back a little, please. Thank you. Okay. Okay, before we go on to, yes, now here, next, we're going on to what can we do with physics, chemistry, biology, or what are called um, medical subjects. Okay, now what are medical subjects? What can you do with physics, chemistry, and biology? Okay, let's look at these subjects. As you can see, medical or life sciences covers human life, plant life, animal life, and even any living organism. So if you're working in this field, it's a huge area, and therefore certainly something that can be of value to anybody who's interested in understanding little more on life sciences. Okay. Um, Medical services, as you all know, there are frontline warriors right now, and who hasn't come across the doctors, nurses, medical staff, lab assistants, who are now absolute heroes. They're doing amazing work these days, and I'm not surprised that many young people want to follow in their footsteps, because these are really our heroes and our saviors for us while we're doing during these days of the pandemic. But for many, medical subjects has only meant medical services like doctors, nurses. Other than that, there are many other careers, and we can also look at those. Life sciences, research and development. This is the field where huge amount of discovery. Why is it possible today to have a vaccine ready for COVID in 1 year, almost 1 year? Is because there is so much R&D being done in all the laboratories. And that requires clinical research. Research means testing on people, checking out if the medicines work or not. Biostatisticians, people who are understanding what are the numbers of people falling ill, and how do we flatten the curve so we get less deaths. Epidemiology, understanding epidemics like this pandemic, or getting into areas that could be related to narcotics, drugs, so many different areas related to medicine, but not quite the work of a doctor. Other than that, if you love animals, there's a whole wonderful world of veterinary and animal science. Today, again, a great demand, because we're trying to preserve our wildlife and our environment, and the animals are a very strong part of that. So for those of you who love animals, here is another wonderful field to get into. Food sciences, really working with different kinds of foods, particularly in the area of nutrition and dietetics. Again, we've understood now during the pandemic what is the kind of food we need to do to keep our immunity levels high, to keep us physically fit, so that we don't fall prey to the COVID pandemic. So what are we doing it? And who do we consult? Our nutritionists and dietetics. And if you want to get into food and the food processing industry, there are many companies that are taking people on who understand how to process food. How do you get your cheeses and your ice creams and your chips? These are all people who have worked on the product of processing the food so that it can be packaged for your use. There are areas like BSc food sciences that you can do, and also many new areas. You can get into oceanography, environment science, nurture flowers, agro-business. Many of the farmers are not able to find buyers for their produce, can go to what is a company that accepts their produce, buys it, and puts it into a big retail mall. Or you can get into forensics. So many interesting fields, either through doing a BSc or a specialized science field in any one of these areas. Again, what can you do with commerce? Okay, so now we finished with science. I'm just going to put on a couple of lights. Give me a minute. Okay. So what can you do with commerce? Now, commerce is a field that affects every area of work that we do. The business work that we do, you want to buy, sell, you want to put your money in a bank, all of that relates to commerce. And many students are not aware of commerce, but really it affects every aspect of work that is done anywhere in the world. What are the subjects? So if you've taken the subject stream of economics, business studies, accounts, what can you do with it? You can be a chartered accountant if you're good with numbers, and that's where you will file people's taxes or check the audits of or get into a banking or a company doing finance. You can work in insurance. You can work as a company secretary. There are many other areas you can get into as well. You can work in a bank where different areas of banking. Today, banking doesn't mean just putting your money into a fixed deposit or into a savings account. It means investing, maybe mutual funds, maybe shares, maybe capital markets, venture funds, so many different areas. And all of this requires very good understanding of accounts and some amount of maths. Other areas with a commerce background, you can get into business management. And here there are any number of specialized fields. Every field of work requires managers. So whether you are a business manager doing marketing or finance or hospital management or hotel management or sports management or entrepreneurship, you need to do a business management degree. Or other areas, you can be a business journalist. You can get into e-commerce. That means you work on all the websites like Amazon or Flipkart or Myntra, where you're setting up the website and seeing how will payments be done, how are they people make those payments, and how can we attract people to come in and buy and sell on our website. So many new and different areas of work, even through commerce. And finally, what can you do with any stream? So whether you've got into humanities or you've got into science by default and you don't know what to do with it, what are some of the areas that you could look at? Many, many different fields: travel, tourism, news, communication, mass communication. Let's look at some of them in more detail. Design could be another one. Mass communication is, again, a growing field. There are almost 400 different TV channels. Can you imagine how many people they would need to either announce news or host a program or act in films or TV series? Any number of these require people. So you can get into film and TV, you can get into public relations, you can get into advertising, whether it is Pepsi or Airtel Mobile or anything you want to advertise. Even now, film stars are getting in and acting in different kinds of products. So all that advertising comes, it's called advertising and PR, where you're doing publicity for a company. Journalism, if you want to be a journalist and report on what the news and what's happening about the elections, about crimes or riots or anything, that's how you become a journalist and do a course in mass communication. Art and design, if you're looking at getting into different areas of fashion, design, all of these require people with design background, creative people, and many, many different areas that you can get into, including interior, jewelry, animation, and of course, all the special effects that come with it. And of course, now computer, gaming, all of these are good areas to look at. Fashion, of course, is a huge area, and not just fashion design. It could be fashion communication, modeling, photography, even shoe. Footwear design is a big area coming up. Again, that would be a degree in design, specializing in fashion. Hospitality hasn't had a very good time this last year because there's been very little travel, but hopefully as the next year, when we have a vaccine and people are getting back to normal, one could look at hotel management, at airlines, working on as airline crew or hospitality, or working in any areas like cruises, resorts, and other special interest areas. Law, again, a very interesting area. You can do it after any subject. You can take up a law degree, either the 5-year course straight after class 12 or a 3-year course after graduation. It's many young people are looking at this option, certainly can give you a very good future ahead. And also, if you want to get into government service, many people are looking at government service. Mostly it is you get into government after graduation, mostly with any degree, and you have to prepare for an entrance exam. And like this, there are many other different careers. You can get into teaching, you can get into, as an economist, you can get in as a mathematician, as a statistician, you can think of any subject, and there is so many careers around it. So don't wait to look at what I should do. Start thinking now about your career. Plan for your future. Just to sum up, let's go through how you want to plan for your future. Keep in mind that the careers of 2025 are going to be somewhat different to the careers you've had so far. As they say, by 2025, 1/3 of all jobs will be performed by software, by robots, and by smart machines. So what does that mean? It means that every one of you, everyone, has to be very, very good with the computer. You must have computer skills. It is essential for everyone. And while some of you might prefer just to get onto some apps like WhatsApp or Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or TikTok, many of you might be getting into doing programming, doing coding, learning all of that. It's very important, because that is the future. Everything is now going to be controlled. As they say, 1/3 of all, everything is going to be controlled by computers. And even the other jobs, if we look at the next slide, if you look at the other jobs that are being performed by other people, there are technology jobs, creative jobs, and jobs that require you to coordinate with other people and build relationships. You still would need some amount of computer skills. So if you have a chance, please do pick up some kind of computer skills and be sure that you know how to use various kinds of and also be learning all the time, because the computer technologies are growing and increasing all the time. Okay, so let's see, how do we make your career plan? Select the subjects suitable for you and make out your plan. There are 3 steps basically. First, step number 1, discover your abilities and interests. So like we said, know yourself, find out what you're good at, what your interests are, what is your personality, what kind of person you are that fits well into certain careers, and then the environment in which you want to work. Second, explore at least 5 careers that interest you. Look at these careers. I've mentioned many. There are hundreds more that you can look at. Find out about the kind of work you will do, the environment, the kind of qualities required, what is the future. Get all the information. Then you can make your decision. And third, prepare your study plan for 3 chosen careers. Then once you know, at least have 3. If the first one doesn't work out, you have second and third to fall back on. Okay? And so with that, let me just give you a little bit of some inspirational stories. Like we've seen this young man, anyone can achieve success like Virat has done. He found out what he was good at and he worked hard. Here is somebody else who can get into work that he loves to do. You love to do work, go for that. Today, the young man that came to see me said, "No, ma'am, I said I will do engineering because that is the field I feel I can earn a lot of money." But then when I told him, if you do not like what you do, you will not be happy and satisfied in doing that work. And you cannot be successful unless you love what you do. Steve Jobs said that, he lived that life, and we are today where we are because of him. And like him, many others. Look at J.K. Rowling. The Harry Potter book was rejected 12 times before it became a bestseller. There are many students who come and tell me, ma'am, I've applied here and there. I couldn't get in. I didn't get a job. I applied to 4 or 5 different people. Don't just keep trying. There are people who applied 20 different jobs and finally found the job they love to do. So, like J.K. Rowling, keep trying. Don't worry if you get rejected. You keep trying and you will definitely succeed. KFC, for those who love KFC, he set up KFC at the age of 65, and his recipe was rejected more than 1,000 times, but he still didn't give up. And today, he's a multi-millionaire and his family has done so well because we all love KFC chicken. Okay. And finally, our own home heroine, Saina Nehwal, who started with karate. Only at age 8, she switched when her father moved to Hyderabad and she couldn't learn karate. She started badminton and look at what heights she got to. So every one of you can be successful if you also try. Millions of opportunities, find the right one that suits you. Okay, so with that I close, and if I know there are many questions coming in, I'm happy to answer all of them for you. Okay, I've got a question. Hello, ma'am. Do marks matter if you have skills in different fields? Now, very often it depends on the field, Aman, the field that you're trying for. Now, if a field which really marks don't matter is the field of computers, there it depends on your skill. You're good at what you do. There are people who have not done engineering. There are people who go from any background but are very good with the computer, with very good logical skills. If they have that and are good with the computer, they can certainly make a success. There are people who don't get good marks who are very creative. And if you want to get into a design field and you're creative, again, is a field where you will succeed and marks will not matter. So look at that, depends on it. There are certain, like if you want a top engineering college, like you want to get into the IIT, marks will matter. But to be an engineer, marks don't matter. You can be a very good engineer even if you don't have marks, but you have the skills and the interest to be an engineer, because you can still get into some engineering college or some engineering course and learn whatever you might want to learn. Okay. Any next question? Let's look at the next question. Can commerce stream do forensics? Okay, Sanjay has a question. Can commerce stream? Now, unlikely that you can do forensics because forensics does require a science background. But what you could do is work in a field of like they do in the criminal criminal field. So you can join, say, the police service with a commerce background and work in with criminal investigation, or work with a detective firm or things like that. So where it's more the management of forensics as an input, but not require forensics as a skill. Okay. The next question. Does the scope of a field matter? Yes, because there are certain fields that don't have a lot of scope, or maybe they're changing. You have to see how good you are. Are you good in an area where there isn't too much scope? Then you can still get to the top of that field, even with so long as you're very good at that field. But keep in mind that if it is changing, very often many fields change. They may not have a lot of scope. Like now, entertainment. Look at the entertainment industry. It has completely changed. Before we used to go for shows. Now we can't go for shows because of COVID, and we don't know whether those live shows will be there. So the entertainment industry is now changing into getting something all visual. Even people are doing shows without an audience, but putting it online, and you can all watch it on your TV screens. So look at how the scene is changing and then adapt to that. Why is CSC taking over other branches? Is that computer sciences? It's not taking over other branches. It is providing outlet for people who uh, may want to work in this field, but also because computers is a field, everything is connected through computers. It makes life easier for us. We can connect with people, we can pick up skills, we can do training. We wouldn't have been able to learn all of this if it wasn't for uh, the computer. So it is a field, it's not taking over, but it is very, very useful. And even other people, even if you get into a design field or you get into journalism, you will still need to have good computer skills, because a large part of your work will be handling different aspects of work where computers are required. And computers will make your life easier. Okay, Gaurish, you're asking, I do banking with PCM. Can you do banking? Yes, you can get into a bank with any subject. You can sit for the PO exam after graduation in any subject, or you can do a course, a BA in banking. There are BCom specializing in banking, there's BBA specializing in banking, and you can also do an MBA specializing in finance and banking and finance. So you can do it with any subject stream. Aman says, I want to be an entrepreneur. How can I get started with my ideas? Okay, Aman, that's excellent. We definitely need more entrepreneurs. You have to start developing your skill. See which field you can be an entrepreneur. Are you good with working with people? Then look at, maybe do you have a skill where you can uh, organize activities, organize events? You can be an event manager. Do you have a skill in engineering? Then take up some technical course and you can devise a product and sell it. So find out, you're good at marketing, you can set up a little marketing service. So you're good with cooking. There are many people who are good at cooking, have taken up a business in catering. So find out what skill you have, develop it, and you can certainly be a very good entrepreneur. Okay, the next question. We've done this. Gaurish, I've answered your question. Let's look at another question. Okay, I've completed my interview. I think these are questions for Sanad. I think there are a lot of questions on the TechBee. I must, before Sanad comes on, and somebody's asked me about, can I apply for the TechBee? I will myself say, I have introduced many young people to the TechBee program. It's an excellent program. And for anybody who wants an early start, you get a chance not only to study, but also to work. And I think Sanad is going to tell you more about it. So if you want to get into the field of computers, this is a very good way of being able to get there. Okay. Sanad, please explain the program to them.
Sure. Thank you. So I see, firstly, thank you a lot, ma'am. Those are some seriously insightful points that you brought out on the different, career paths that are available. I wish I would have attended one of your sessions when I was in school as well, would have helped out. But yeah, definitely on the right path still. So yeah, on that note, I do want to take up some questions that you have regarding the HCL TechBee program. I see that some people have asked how they can apply. So you can simply visit www.hcltechbee.com. You can find the website URL in the ticker running below your screen as well. You can simply apply there, fill in your details, make a profile for yourself using your, say, Gmail or whatever ID that you use. And then after enrolling there, you have to fill out an application form with your details. post which you have to sit for an entrance exam, the HCL SAT with us, which tests your aptitude, logical reasoning, and language capabilities. Post which you have an interview with us and you get your offer letter. I also saw a question regarding the subjects that are taught. So rather than breaking down each and every subject of the curriculum, I would tell you this, that it prepares you to be an IT professional. It prepares you for a job with HCL. So that would include classes on coding, for example, or classes on application development, software support, software development, and also communication skills so that you can interface with clients and your team effectively. So yeah, those are some points that you can note for about the program. For others, you can also visit the website.
Okay, thank you. Uh, Very, very useful. And I think there are many who have already joined this program, Sanat.
Yes, we've had over 2,000 students that are already deployed in HCL after being trained, under the TechBee program.
And maybe the students might be happy to know what kind of work they're doing. What is the kind of
Uh,
work they're
so,
doing?
so the kind of job roles that they're involved in after completing TechBee ranges from application development, software development, to support roles. So these range within the IT services spectrum itself. But like I said, it would be from these specific domains like application support, application development, etc. So you would be, for example, a coder, writing code for an application for a project or for one of HCL's clients. Actually probably working with teams based, onshore in different countries. So that's a very good exposure for someone definitely coming right out of school.
Okay. Okay, that's very good. I find there's a question here on marks and
Yes.
experience, and I think that is quite relevant because while while marks are important, it's good to get experience, and I think that way the TechBee program actually covers that because you get some amount of experience and you're learning as well. There are not many programmer courses that you can do where you could actually train and get some work experience. So I think one of the benefits of the TechBee program is just this. Wouldn't you say so, Sanat? I think how much time
Absolutely.
do they actually work for?
So it's a 12-month period, training period, in which it's divided into a classroom training and training on the job. Because of course, as we know, there's a lot that we study in our books, even in college and school. But when it actually comes down to performing a certain task, you may not know where you stand because you don't have the practical knowledge of it. So we believe that it's very important for you to learn in class and
Mm,
hands-on, with a system, with a application in your hand. So it prepares you, I mean, from 6 to 8 months on the job, and around 4 to 6 months will be classroom sessions.
okay. Okay, that's
And of
good.
course, the HCL, I mean, the TechBee program also allows you to earn while you learn, because I mean, there are elements like you get a stipend, while you are working, on the job at HCL, and of course, you're paid a full salary once you do complete the TechBee program.
And it's open to students from any stream so long as you've got maths. Is that how I understand it?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And what degree would you get at the end of the training?
So the TechBee program in itself is a certification. This, enables you to get a job at HCL. While you are right after you finish the program, you start your higher studies with Sastra University, BITS Pilani or Amity, depending on what cohort you choose, and then you can either take up a BCA, BSc course, and complete your higher studies as well.
Okay. Okay. Excellent.
Yes.
Okay. Are there any more questions?
I think we've addressed pretty much
Out
all the
of time?
questions. So just before we log off, I want to thank everyone for your time today. Thank you, Usha ma'am, for
Thank you.
taking our time and counseling all of us here tuned in, and to know more about what kind of career paths we have after class 12. Now, for everyone who's watching the session, please do like and follow HCL TechBee on Facebook and Instagram. We will be bringing you more such sessions in the time to come. So please stay tuned. And for any questions you may have, you can write to us on drtechbee.guidance@hcl.com. That is Dr. TechBee, TechBee.guidance@hcl.com. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Thank you, Usha ma'am, once again.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure being here.
Thanks. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, Anand. It's been great.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone.